Hey people, what's going on? Broken Puppet, welcome back to my videos. Got a really fun one today. It's a nice classic old school rose. It's done on paper, pen and marker, so it's dead easy to follow. And just kind of show you basically how I build it up and how I shade it. If it's your first time to my channel, make sure you click subscribe. I've got hundreds of videos to help you guys out, but for now people, old school rose. So let's mark it out. So yeah, I've got a center points roughly around here. So what I'm going to do is just sketch me in a nice circle, just like that. Once I've got this circle done, I'm going to create another secondary circle, just around the outside. Just like so. So I've got two circles. Coming off the circle, I'm going to do one little line just coming down here. Little lines coming off of it. So one up here. Another one this side. Make sure it's not the exact same kind of angle as this, a little bit different. So I'm going to have one here. And one there, maybe a little one just there. So the idea is this is going to be the buds, these are going to be the petals, and these little lines are going to be the leaves. So I'm going to start off with the buds, you know, the most important part. So roughly about sort of center, so about here. I'm going to bring in this V shape, so I'm going to bring this line coming down this way. And the line coming down this way. So upside down V shape. Once I've got this done, I'm going to curve this back. I'm going to go one little bump to the center. Come back here, I'm going to go one little bump to the center. So I've got this nice kind of base to kind of build stuff off now. So once I've got this done, I'm going to create this little line coming out this way. I'm going to go basically kind of replicate these and create a few kind of rounds to sort of shape it up. So I'm going to bring this one in and go in this gap. This one's going to come off around here. Now it hasn't got to be symmetric. I'm going to make this one not symmetric to sort of show you guys. I'm going to bring this one kind of petal, it's going to kind of overturn on this area. Just here, and I'm going to have one coming up a different angle just here. Make sure they're all slightly different angles. You don't want the exact same kind of line angle. It just won't work in my opinion. And coming up here, I'm going to create this little circle coming around like an upside down sort of six kind of shape. So I'm going to loop around. Well, it's not upside down, it is a six shape. Curve around like that. On the outside part, it's just going to curve around to sort of join it up. And there you go, you've got your basic bud. Now it's a nice, real simple, you know, really kind of effective one. And once you've got this, you can kind of sort of build up around it now. So what I'm going to do is going to create this one initial petal. It's going to sit above this, so it's going to curve around like this. Come down around here. So this one's going to kind of build this up. And once you've got this, I'm then going to come start from the bottom. So I'm going to create this initial shape. It's going to be sort of triangular. So it's going to cut in here, curve down like this. So this sort of section here, this is going to be the first one. It's going to be sort of kind of like, it's going to be my base. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Getting tongue tied. So that's going to be my base. And once I've got the base, I can add the other ones round. Now I'd like to make sure I've got at least 5. You can be more than that, but just try and make sure you've got at least 5 in my opinion. I'm going to create this next one. It's going to come around here. So I'm going to have this sort of shape. This one just here. This one's going to curve up. I'm going to loop this one down a touch, so it sort of shows a bit of kind of angles. It's sort of turning around. This one a little bit different, so it's not symmetric. I'm going to this one here. One coming here. Maybe this one come a little bit higher, so it kind of sits behind this. And one kind of sit in this area just here. So you've got your basic petals on the outside. Once you've got the outside, decide how you want to get the outside rim on these. I like to make it a little bit wavy, so this one here I'm going to go down, create a little dip in the center, curve around. This one I'm going to put a little dip in here, come around. This one might have one dip, come up, little dip in there. You know, just so the line's not perfectly kind of smooth. You know, you can do, but I just think it gives much more kind of character and looks a lot better when you kind of make them a bit kind of uneven. So tongue-tied today. So we've got this line coming down here for the petals now. I'm going to sketch in this rough shape like this. So this is roughly about the kind of sort of width you want. And once you've got that done, you can decide how you want to shape it. This one, I'm going to do real simple. It's going to curve out. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you've got little dips on either side. Little triangle just at the bottom, just coming up inside it. You can do some little lines off at the inside if you want. I'm not going to do for this one. This one's going to be really nice, bold, and fairly simple to be honest. But it's going to really kind of sort of make it stand out. You know, the simplistic sort of design of it is going to make it really cool. So I'm going to do these little ones, this little curved line coming out to a point and curve back. I'm going to have little ones over here as well. So I've got 2 on this one, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same sort of thing on the outside here. So I'm going to create this one like this. Sketch this rough sort of shape so I've got a rough sort of size. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you've got the little dips. Create a little V shape on the inside. And this one's going to have that petal coming out over there. Again, just up here. So you can have that sort of shape. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Get your long V shape on the inside. Just like that. I might add, I might possibly add a second one behind this actually. Where I've got this one, I'm going to add a second one. Just so there's a bit different, so one's got two. I like to make sure each little section of kind of petals has its own kind of personality, so each one's a little bit different. So that one's going to have two, and over here just one little single one. So I've got this really nice kind of build up now. So now I've got this build up, I'm going to sort of like mark it all in. So I'm going to come in with a Sharpie pen, really basic standard Sharpie, just to fine point one, and just grab everything we've just done now. So it's all nice and penned in. Now the Sharpie is quite thick, you can go for a thinner pen if you want. I just really like the boldness of Sharpie for my old school stuff. And I just think it looks really nice, I really like a nice bold old school design. But feel free to use any kind of pen you have really. Now, the good thing with Sharpie is they're quite easy to get hold of, you know, pretty much everywhere has them. I certainly do over here. I'm in the UK, they pretty much have them everywhere over here. They're very, very popular. If they don't have it in your country, then you probably have the equivalent. It's just a basic standard kind of marker, really. It's got a nice blackness to it. It's very good for doing outline. I wouldn't recommend it for shading, you know, because it ain't got no sort of brush tip. There's no sort of like edge to kind of sort of shade with. But for lining, it's very good. I recommend sort of getting some decent paper as well. I'm using Bristol board for mine. You know, it's my sort of go-to kind of paper. If you're using printer paper, you might find it sort of rips it up a little bit. You know, it's probably got a little bit too much ink for printer paper. So yeah, if you're using printer paper, I'd recommend getting something else. It's not ideal for that. So we've got our petals now, all around the outside. So now I've got done, I'm going to come and get those outside leaves. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Get a nice V shape on the inside of it. Then get your outside parts, like so. So just curve it around to a point. Get back into it, just like that. When I shade it, I'm going to use Winsor & Newton brush markers. I will say them again as I use it, and I'll tell you exactly what kind of code they are. You can use any kind of marker really. I just prefer mine to have like a brush tip, so something like Copic, Winsor & Newton, Chameleon pens. Now my favourite is basically just alcohol based kind of ones with a brush tip. Now they're not the only brands that do it. But yeah, if you want to get like some really nice sort of, you know, ones with sort of shading, they're the ones to go for. And lastly, this little one just over here. Just going to take up that space, like that. So we've got this nice old school rose in here now. So once I've got this done, I'm just going to grab me rubber, I'm going to rub it all out. Now Sharpie dries really quick on this, so I can rub out straight away. If you're using a different pen, make sure you give enough time for your pen to dry. You know, last thing you want to do is start blending out and sort of like smudging your lines. You know, but yeah, Sharpie is like super quick drying, especially on Bristol board. Pretty much as soon as it touches it, it's dried. So just rub that all out until that's all gone. Just like so. And now I've done that, I'm going to use my Winsor & Newton brush markers. I'm going to use them in the black, and I'm going to use the cold tone, so I'm going to go for the grey tones. That's CG1 to CG4. That's basically the little code on the top. I'll show you just as I use it. Ooh. So yeah, so I've got my brush markers, I've got the XP black, and then you've got the grey tone, so you've got the 4 of these. I'm holding it sort of here, I don't know if it sort of focus, hopefully it will. So you can see, you've got a CG3, so it's 1 to 4. It's basically a little code that's on them. You know, it's 4 is the darkest, 1's the lightest. So I'm going to start now. I'm going to start from, say, over here. So I'm going to bring my black coming across. I prefer to do, like, you know, side to side motion. So I'm going to bring in my black across on this angle. Then I'm going to come down to the darker grey. So my darkest kind of grey. And you're going to bring it across in the same kind of motion, just going over the edge of that black, just until you see it start to blend. Once it starts to blend, just stop and let it do its magic. Once you've done that, I'll just go down through it. So I'm going to go from the 4 to the 3. And each sort of time kind of work down through the shade again. So we kind of go from the top and just kind of work your way down it. Just helps to kind of blend and get a really smooth blend by the end of it all. Down to number 2. And number 1 pretty much fades to nothing, so number 1. Just like that. So you can do the same thing for the rest of it. And I'm going to show you how to do each little bit individually. So I said, because it's going to be a black and white rose, I'm going to go black. This inside part just here. Bring that a fair amount, a bit more than I would normally. If I was doing colour, I probably wouldn't bring it out that far, but because it's black and white, I really want to do that. And I'm just going to follow that shape around like this, just keep going over it. Now, you generally find if you do a side-to-side motion like this, it's just much easier to blend than it is to sort of trying to flick it out. And just keep going down through your brushes until you're down to your last one. Until we're down to that. So you see that's that one faded out. So once I've got that one done, I'm going to go here. Again, I'm going to pick this sort of circular motion just on this bottom section of it. Just as it kind of sits there. And then just work my grey around it. Just keep going side to side. Until it starts to blend. CG3. So CG2. To CG1. Alright, so give your CG1 a chance to sort of like dry up now, because as it dries, it pretty much fades mostly to nothing. Now, if you keep going over it, you're going to overwork your design, and that's the last thing you want. You don't overwork your design. I'm just going to do this inside section just here. I'm going to go quite heavy with the black just there, just bring that across. Bring my black a little bit thinner across the top than I did the before. So let's get that grey, just work it over a nice thin line. Go down. So basically I want us to shade out a little bit quicker than the other bits because it's a smaller section. Just like that. I'm just going to keep working around now until we kind of get everything sort of how we want it. Going to come up here with a black. For the centre bit, I'm going to kind of come up here and I'm going to probably leave this as a nice firm black edge kind of line. Just sort of change it up. Bit of black in this corner. Bit of black just in here. Do these 3 and then come to the other ones. Don't take on too much at once because it dries fairly. These markers dry fairly quick. And if you take on too much, by the time you get to say your last little bit, it's probably going to start drying up and it's going to make it much harder to blend out. So I recommend maybe start with sort of like one little section. Once you've done that, up to 2, up to 3, and just kind of keep an eye on your sort of speed and how it kind of blends. And once you kind of get to your maximum, sort of don't go past that. Okay, so we'll come together nicely now. Bring a little line just up in there. bit of black in that section. I'm going to do a little bit of a fade out on either side of that black. So this bit here, I'm going to do that nice kind of thin shade just here. And then I'm going to fade this out this way and the other way. So just going through your shades. Like so. So I've got that, I'm going to keep scanning around, just picking it off section by section, you know, just dividing it out. Just bring that grey around there again, so that's like the 4. It starts to blend into that 3. You can never do enough roses now, because especially what sort of say tattoos are, you know, roses are just so important. They're used in so many things. You know, it's like the ultimate kind of flower. You can kind of work into any design, especially with old school. You know, there's pretty much not a single old school design you can't work a rose into, really. You know, I mean, there might be one out there, but you're gonna have a hard time trying to find it. You know, because it just works perfect for old school. I mean, from all the kind of flowers I've done, it's definitely the most popular flower. You know, I literally couldn't even count the amount of old school roses I've tattooed. I think any kind of tattoo, I should probably have a hard time trying to keep up with that. And the reason for it, because they're awesome. You know, it's just so versatile. You know, a lot of people sort of might say kind of a bit repetitive with it, you know, but you know, when you draw them, you can never really kind of get bored of them, because there's always different ways of doing them. You know, every rose I do, I sort of change up a little bit, but it's just sort of the kind of pattern work, you know, or the way I kind of lay out the petals, the inside bit, the leaves. You know, once you understand a bunch of combinations of it, you know, different things you can kind of sort of change up, you can pretty much do an endless amount of them. So once you sort of figure out sort of say 10 ways of roses, you know, 10 combinations there, just switching up all 10 little different things, you know, you can make like thousands. So once you know sort of 10 leaves, 10 different petals, 10 different insides, you know, you can really mix and match them. You know, they're just brilliant. I love them. And like I said, I'm using markers for these. You can pretty much use anything you want. You know, like traditionally, like old school, most old school flash was done with paints and inks, like water paints and inks. You can always give them a go. That was really fun. And I will do a few videos where I use them as well, to sort of show you guys how to do that. You know, if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments. You know, if there's enough support for it, I'll get quite a few of them done as well. You know, I think everyone's kind of loving the ones on paper. And I've been getting a really good response out of these, so I'll keep doing these for a while. You know, I will do some more digital as well. You know, I've always got love for digital. But I'm really enjoying this at the moment, and everyone seems to be enjoying these, so I'll keep these going for a little bit. And then, yeah, I'll start doing some more digital as well. I think the handy thing with this is just because not everyone's obviously got, you know, the digital stuff, so not everyone's got an iPad, not everyone's got access to the right programs and stuff. That's where everyone can get their hands on a pencil and a bit of paper. I mean, you can follow along with the iPad tutorials on pen and paper, you know, there's no reason you can't do that, but I think it's just easier to follow when you sit like this. And judging by the response you guys are giving, I think most of you probably agree to that. So you can see, just keep building it up the same kind of way. When I got this one round here, I'm going to bring this shade just up on this little bit. Comes up to that edge. Just bring that around there. Get down to my 3. I'm just going to go straight down to the 1 for this bit, because there's not too much left in there. You know, you can often skip a shade. I often do when I'm sort of doing my sort of shades. You know, mainly when it's like a little area. You know, if you're squeezing it in there, you don't always have to add all 4 shades, but you know, for the ultimate sort of, you know, best blend, you're best off going through all your shades if you can. But yeah, for a little section, like, you know, if you sort of look and you think, oh, it's not needed, and it's probably not really needed, to be honest. Like I say, I don't always go for all my shades. I'm doing it mostly for this video, but you see every now and again I'm skipping 1 or 2 when it's not needed. Just keep going down through those numbers. Just blend them out. You see, we're pretty much almost getting there now. In that section and that section. Like I said, just keep going over it. Once you see the colours start to blend, just kind of let it do its magic. You know, especially when you're using these kind of brush markers. You know, but they'll basically carry on blending for a few seconds afterwards. So if you keep going till you get to your perfect kind of tone, it's going to carry on blending it afterwards and might kind of ruin it. So just get to the stage where you see it start to blend, and it'll do the rest of the work for you. And then smell a nice little one. It's been black. Onto this top section now. Bring my black across it like this. Make this one a little bit higher. So you've got a couple different kind of levels going on here. Sometimes it's nice to have like a set sort of level of it. You know, sometimes it's nice to have different kind of heights with your shades. You know, play around with it, but just whatever you kind of sort of do to begin with, make sure you kind of carry that pattern throughout the whole of it. You know, I think with old school, especially say like rose and stuff like that, you have 1 or 2 choices. You either kind of pick your patterns and stick with them, or you basically make the pattern the fact that everything is kind of sort of random and different. So if you used to make like a whole bunch of, like, you know, say 4 of them kind of sort of petals, you know, that might look pretty good because it's almost like kind of random where there's so many different types. But if you used to say do all this and sort of throw 1 or 2 just really random ones, it'd probably feel a little bit out of place and probably wouldn't work. But yeah, it's one of those ones you want to sort of, you know, get a concept and kind of stick with it. Like that. And the last thing I'm going to do is grab my Sharpie. Just want to get this little black V-tip just on the tip of these 4 petals. Leaves rather, not petals. Just like that, I like that. And that's how you do it, people. That's how you draw a nice classic old school rose. You know, it's a black and white one, you know. If you just do colour, do the colour over top of it. I've got quite a few colour tutorials, so I thought I'd do a black and white one for a different, you know, just for a change. You know, but yeah, that's how you do it, people. I hope you like it. Check my videos. Like I said, I've got hundreds of tutorials, my thing, you know, like loads and loads of different ones. And if it's your first time to my channel, make sure you click subscribe. You know, it's really appreciated. But for now, people, I'm The Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace.